accompanied us tonight. The first guest ever that we've ever had.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I'm
Welcome.
honored.
Yay!
I have been loving, observing, and watching from afar what you all have been doing with Mouthy Broads. I think it is so, so cool and like so needed in the industry that we're in. So I'm very honored and excited to be here.
Very much for
So
it.
excited.
Happy to have you. Our honorary inaugural guest. How perfect.
Yes, love it.
We kept it a brunette for today to replace Kim. Sorry, Emily. Other Emily, you're still the blonde.
Still the only
Wait, are
blonde.
you calling me a brunette or are you calling me a blonde?
A brunette.
Brunette.
Emily
Okay,
Rose brunette.
okay,
Emily
okay.
Cassell
I
blonde.
like that. I like that. I like that
Are you
because,
blonde?
you know,
No.
I have
She's
traditionally
been
been
blonde. She's
blonde.
dabbled.
This
She's
is
dabbled.
now my natural hair, so I'm always curious. Do people see it as brunette, dirty blonde? Like, what's the vibe? But I'll
Brunette.
take it. I'll take the brunette.
It depends. I bet you if you had it down, we would
Yes,
Yeah,
be
and the
telling a
light.
yes.
different story.
And
Yeah.
I don't have extensions in right now. A lot of times I'll have long blonde extensions. So
Oh,
yeah, you're seeing
okay.
the real raw me here, girls.
I'm really holding down the representation and DEI for blondes
Yeah.
in this call every
You
week.
Must
too.
So,
be in the
you
political
know,
conversation, one blonde.
one
Yes.
has to be MAGA coded and
Yes.
secretly not. So people will listen to me when I speak.
Working. It is working for you.
Mm, yeah.
It could be working better, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay, awesome. What are we going to talk about today? What is the topic?
We probably have 5 million topics for
Man, yeah,
today.
based off of our chat before this, we could go in 100 different directions, but what are we feeling? We're feeling AI today, right?
AI.
Yeah, and I think especially like coaching industry and how that might intersect with other pieces, anything political that we're all like, if it's on our
Mm,
radar or needs to be on our radar.
yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I
Lots that
I
should be
think
on everyone's radar, I would agree, especially on the political
absolutely.
front.
Yeah, absolutely. We
do
do
you want to
have
give a little background? Go ahead.
me.
Yeah.
We I'm just saying with AI, I mean, in the political realm, we've seen a lot of AI generated political propaganda. I
Mhm.
recall recently when Trump had an AI generated photo of him as Jesus that he
Yes.
said was a doctor.
Yeah.
So, building a new level of discernment and what do we want to call this? Like literacy around AI is
Hmm.
important now. And I
Yes.
think a lot of people, um, this bridges like gerontocracy and all of these other things too, and like tech awareness. I know that I saw recently a clip of a Supreme Court justice who was like, I didn't learn what ChatGPT was until last week. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's
Yep.
terrifying that
Those are the
you
people
But
are
trying to
making
regulate our
decisions
technology.
and and
Exactly.
yeah.
regulate tech use and you don't
Yes.
even know what this is and this has been around and we've all been using it in our businesses and otherwise and it's on the internet. I mean,
Everyone's
it's
using
like
it. Yeah.
everywhere
Yeah.
and you don't even know what it is until a week ago. That's not okay. What are
Hmm.
we
Like they're going
talking
to be
about?
seeing a case about it soon and they're going to be like, "Oh, I
Oh,
don't know.
I'm
What's
shocked it
Yeah.
the
hasn't happened yet. I
Yeah.
mean, it's been around. When did ChatGPT
But
actually first come out? And was that
I
the
mean,
first
so
one?
End of 20.
First
um
LLM?
yeah, it was my husband actually Brian, who I own the AI coaching business with. He did the first AI Super Bowl ad. That was back in 2022, I want to say. So it's
oh
like, yeah,
wow.
at
Okay, yeah, so
least.
we're 4 years
Yeah, yeah. So
in.
we've been in for a while, four or
But it's
five,
like
Hmm.
when it
imagine
really
a
came
Supreme Court
public.
justice being like, "What's the internet?"
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure that happened too at the
Oh,
time. What is
yes.
the interwebs? We don't know.
Yes.
What's the
Well,
dot
it's
coms?
exactly, and I think like I'm sure we'll have a whole portion of this show talking about regulations, but it's such a hard topic because I think almost everyone knows we need to regulate AI. There's a
Right.
lot of risk, there's a ton of upside, but who's the right people to do it? And right now, we have
Hmm.
this Congress of which is mostly old 86-year-old white men who don't really know about
That
the
may or may
internet.
not be alive even.
Exactly. Trying to think through how to manage
MIA.
this extremely complex technology. And that's not the right solution, right? And so it's just so layered. And
Hmm.
yeah, I know this is something we'll get into, but yeah, it's an interesting time to be alive, isn't it?
Oh,
With
yeah.
all
Yeah.
the advances
Who
we're seeing in
do
technology.
Who do you think are the right people or the right blend of people to be regulating this
Yeah,
technology now? Because I think, I've seen at Brown, my alma mater now, there's some kind of um, group that they're trying to pull together of people from different backgrounds and like three different groups within this umbrella of like AI regulation
yeah,
and trying to kind of figure out who should be at the table and what's the legal implication and what are the use cases over here and all of those things. And I'm seeing people trying, and I know in South Carolina, like state level government, there was some kind of thing happening in the last few years of trying to build like maybe a committee.
yep,
But it doesn't seem like it's enough or
yeah,
fast enough to respond adequately to what is unfolding at such a rapid, volatile, uncertain,
yeah.
complex, ambiguous world that we're living in, especially now that we're seeing this like exponential growth curve with AI and AI adoption and AI being integrated into like every software, every profession very quickly.
Yep, totally. And by the way, Jess, did we hit record yet on this? I just want to make
Uh,
sure we don't go an hour without hitting record
yeah,
Is it
because we could
actually,
dive into
yeah.
it.
it's been
Is
recorded
it
for
actually
everything.
recording or is it your note taker recording?
I don't see it recording, but I could. Oh, wait, no, it says record at the top. Okay. Sorry.
Record.
I just was like, we are going to dive in, and I feel like an hour might go by, and we'll be like, oh shit, we didn't get
But
into
sometimes it is
that.
just the note
Yeah, it's
taker
just the note
recording.
taker.
Yes,
Oh,
Double
okay.
check.
but it is
I'm
recorded.
seeing computer recording is on now at the top of the screen.
Okay.
Oh
And
no, we
Uh,
weren't recording?
I know.
No, we were, I
She's had
think.
some bangers.
You
Yeah,
were?
no, I know. We got to make sure we're recording those.
yes, we are recording.
We
Exactly.
are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were we though? Before?
Yeah, yeah.
All the time since the
Okay.
We're,
beginning. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great, great.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Fab.
So I don't think it can be piecemealed like it is right now, right? This is what we were talking about in the chat before. It's like it does need to be global. Right now, the two big players in AI are the US and China. I was telling Jess the UK has tried to regulate AI and has formed some type of committee. They are now not a leader in AI at all. Like they're not really much part of the conversation, right? So there is the risk of like this is an incredible technology. This is going to absolutely change the world. I firmly believe that. We have to address the risk, but if it's only one country doing it, and if it, or it's one city or it is one state, that is not going to help. So it's layered because you have regulations that need to be happening at obviously a global level. That's the top. Second is you have to be make sure that all the for-profit companies and their shareholders, so we're talking OpenAI, we're talking Claude, we're talking all the for-profit AI companies, they're also regulating and that they're building in the same level of regulations into their code when they're building these models and when they're releasing these models, right? And that they have a similar that they also are okay with having a group testing that has access and early access to these models. Right now, what's happening in the US is you have the Trump administration who has early access to frontier models. So when Claude is releasing Fable or Mythos, general public is not getting access. It's only Trump and it's some of the higher up people from big corporations in the US.
Mm.
And then of course you have, the tech leaders that actually own these companies. So the public has really, really little transparency into what's going on. And then you add that with the lack of trust in this administration in the first place.
Mhm.
And so that's not right either. So we need, and what we also can't have is a bunch of people, this is my belief in Congress, who don't understand technology or the internet in the first place. Just like when we saw with when they tried to ban TikTok, they don't even understand what the app is. Right now, when you
Right.
add the most advanced technology we've ever experienced, they shouldn't be the ones making those decisions. And then also, especially this administration, which I won't get too into. But it needs to be global. It needs to have all the for-profit companies on board to be regulated, and there needs to be transparency with the public as well, right?
Mhm.
And so that's just the start. That's why it's like it's such a complex conversation because you can't just have one sector of people that are saying, yeah, we want to do this, and not really have the entire globe cooperating,
Mhm.
right? And then
Hmm.
also all the for-profit companies is another um, big issue
Mhm.
because they're reporting to their shareholders, right? This regulation in general isn't aligned with for-profit necessarily. And that is also at the heart of the issue because they're trying to please their shareholders. The faster you go in AI, the more money the shareholders are going to make. And
Hmm.
so it's
There's
a
a lot of money
very
there.
complex, yeah, complex issue.
And they're about to
Now,
go
what
public.
China, what was that?
Excuse me, they're about to go public as well. They're going to launch their IPO. A couple of them, I think.
Exactly.
OpenAI
Yeah,
and
OpenAI and Claude. Yep. Yes, exactly. And so there's that as well.
mm,
There's also the difference between open weight or open source models and closed source models, right? So what China was really pushing for, what we were talking about in our chat, where they were pushing for regulations, they're pushing for more open weight models, which means that the public has access to the code and they understand how the models are being trained and what's going into it. There's more transparency. You can also, it means that you have the ability to do a lot cooler things, frankly, with AI, with an open weight, open source model, because you have everyone who has access to the code instead of it being limited to these for-profit companies saying, we're the only people that are deciding what's going in here. We're the only ones who know how it's getting trained. And we're going to make you only use our app so that our shareholders are getting the highest level of profit that they can. That is actually a lot more of what China was pushing for, was more open weight, which me and my husband both are fully supportive of because it's very beneficial to the end user. It's a lot
Hmm.
more inexpensive. You can do all cooler things. Um, so it's like, again, it's such a layered conversation. But
yeah.
you definitely need global cooperation. You need people that understand the technology very deeply and are incentivized to do this.
Yeah, exactly. And I was talking about this with Emily Castle the other day when we had a call last Monday, and we were talking about populism. And I think that populism, in a way, is of course an expression of our times. Of course, social media radicalizes people in whichever direction. And populism also, it can be on both sides of the aisle. And I think also it's kind of, let's say, an incapability of our maybe our nervous system or our brain or both to hold complexity anymore. And I think that it's
Yes.
especially like these days we have like last week we discussed about the DSA, so the Democratic Socialists of America. So we know that they reject certain things in a block, so to say. We are aware, like we are in general in favor of it, but at the same time, we do realize that it is populism. And so, one of the things probably that the DSA is against in a block without seeing the layers is probably AI. At least this is what I've heard, right? And I think that we're really lucky to have you here because you are on the progressive side of things. You've always been a progressive, but at the same time, you are really an AI insider. So you can really tell us about the complexity so that we can really appreciate all of the layers that you just mentioned. And you just mentioned a few of them because there will be many more to mention, right? So that's why I feel really lucky to have you here today. Because
Oh,
like
I
you combine the
appreciate
two
that.
things, like the AI complexity that you can are aware of
Yeah.
and explain as well, but then at the same time you do have a progressive stance on things.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what the phrase that's going around in
Mm.
the AI industry is you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, which is such a
Mm.
weird phrase, but it's the phrase everyone's using. So we're going to go with that. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. AI is here, and I think that is a stance of people that just want to grumble, are resistant, don't want to adopt it, and are very outspoken and anti-AI. That's just not the solution. There is absolutely no way we're ever going backwards, right? And there's a ton of upside to AI, a ton of upside if we can come as a collective society and be solution oriented and realize, hey, the toothpaste is spilled all over the counter at this point. Like it's not going back into the tube. But what can we do where we're agreeing across nations, we're agreeing across political lines, hopefully, to actually use this technology in the way that it was originally supposed to be designed, which is for the benefit of humanity. And in my opinion, I think it really expands humans' abilities to like shoot for the stars, shoot for the moon. You have never been able to bring something from thought to fruition as quickly as you can now. It's huge for entrepreneurs, like massive, massive. But with bad actors as the only people that have their hands in AI, that is the risk, right? And so it's kind of like Jess and I talk about this a lot because I always say money in the hands of good people can change the world. Money in the hands of bad people, we're fucked, right?
Is the world
And
we live in too.
it's the world we live. You guys, you all know you're on the coaching industry, and it's like AI is the same. It's actually not the technology to
Totally.
be afraid of. It's the people controlling the technology and making these decisions. So
I
that's
feel
where
like
I come from, you know?
part of it has to be though the acceptance of there's just going to be bad actors, like no matter how you write,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
everything in the world, like there's still bad actors. I mean, they're running our countries and stuff, but like they're there, and so that can't be the end goal, is to never have
Yes.
anyone misuse it, never have a dark side of it, but it's like to handle the good side as best as possible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And to have people that understand, and I totally agree with what you're saying, like the bad actors are not going to go away on this planet fully ever. I would love that. That is
We're all
not going to
trying, but
happen. We're trying our best. But I think that there's a real there needs to be people that understand the technology enough that can also weigh the benefit versus the risk. Like the benefit, the upside is like we could cure cancer with AI. Pharmaceutical
yeah.
companies don't want us to do that, hence they're building
Mhm.
in their own guardrails within these platforms that you can't public can't do cancer research anymore because someone already cured cancer for their dog. Like that happened within the first month or two of this new intelligence rolling out. But there is also the risk of this also in bad hands, bad actors could develop bioweapons, right? So it's like, is which is
Right.
more important, the insane progress we could have, or the risk with the people with it in the wrong hands? So I think it's just we need people that really understand the technology. And again, this is why I keep saying like it needs to be very, very globally regulated.
Mhm.
Otherwise, that risk can start to outweigh like the crazy advances we could make.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, and I think that's true for any technological advancement ever in the history of the world, right? Like
Yeah,
the atom bomb,
right.
hello.
We all had to
Uh,
agree on something. Yeah.
the
Yeah,
internet,
exactly.
like, there, space travel, like whatever the case is, airspace usage, there's so much with any technological advancement. That's normal. That's part of the evolution, is then having
Mhm.
new problems and new challenges to figure out and navigate. And I think for some reason right now, it feels like things are they're already so bad that I think people's appetite to handle more
Yeah,
uncertainty or more change in this kind of way that is like a little scary
yeah,
is just not there as it was in
yes,
other times, right? And I'm sure at any point in time, you're going to have, with any technological advancement, as you mentioned, like you're going to have the duality of bad actors and good actors, and people using it for creation and destruction, and people using something, um, people who are in favor and not in favor, and people who are sharing this angle and that angle. And I think in a beautiful way, on a national scale, right? That's democracy at work,
yeah.
actually,
Hmm.
is having all of those different perspectives illuminated and then deciding of what comes through, what do we want to go with right now? And I don't think necessarily the right move is to, well, I don't know. I think, I'm seeing a lot of headlines lately about like Bernie Sanders proposes to stop all construction until we know more.
Yeah.
And like,
Mm,
I don't know. What do we think about
yeah.
that? What do we feel? Is that the right move? Is it not
What
the right
he wants
move?
stop construction of data centers
Yes, of data
or progressing
centers.
AI. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
building data centers, which
I don't
there
know if,
are
yeah, go ahead.
I think there are things to figure out. Like I was listening to something recently about, the sound that they make is not great. But like,
Hmm.
let's get some audio engineers to figure
Yeah.
that out. I have a friend whose husband is an audio engineer. That's literally what he does for like nuclear power plants as well, or any other kind of place. So that information exists, but I think
Yeah.
people are just we're so overcooked on so
Yes.
many things right now that just the appetite isn't there for even thinking uh creatively about solutions that would have us not that would still give us the best of both, of being able to move things forward, and also you can't know what the actual true risks or challenges will be until you move something,
Yeah.
right? This is what we talk about all the time in like the coaching industry and business and all of that. It's like, okay, if it's an idea, you don't have any evidence of what's real yet. You got to like test it. You got to go. You got to move. You got to do something. You got to execute. And then you figure out in response to that in an emergent way, how do we solve for this now? That's the joy of it, actually. That's part of the innovation evolution process, regardless of where it's happening or how or what scale. So I think we're seeing a lot of that here. And I think we're seeing also like public opinion and public appetite is for increased risk or
Yeah.
increased uncertainty is just, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
we're
Yeah.
over it right now. It's too much.
Totally.
We're
It's
overstimulated.
yeah. I mean, like plus one to literally everything you said.
Yeah.
Fully agree. I think that and as someone with an AI coaching business, I mean, the amount of hate that I get online, specifically on my AI coaching business, it's like nothing I've ever experienced. Now, I have tough skin. I've been in the coaching industry for a while. I don't care if people are hating on me online. But I can tell you that I've been teaching spiritual energetics and manifestation for years, have never received that level of hate. As soon as I launch anything I mean, the public comes for you. So it's very hot, very buzzy to be anti AI right now. And I think to your point, they're really afraid of it. They don't know what to do with it. And I see this in my job, which is like training people on how to use AI and getting people on board and excited about this technology within a big, massive global corporation. People are so scared that they're going to lose their jobs. People think the technology is so over their heads, they don't want to approach it. People just are like, I don't even want to think about it because the level of subconscious fear, I think also that they have of this just destroying their lives is so prevalent. And a big part of like working with people within this corporation is being like, it's actually not going to replace your job, but what you can now do can evolve. You can be more creative. I created this role for myself in the last 6 months with, like that is how quickly things are moving, which also means that you get to evolve with it if you're open to it, but you have to be open to learning. And I think that's where this divide is going to start increasing even more, like the digital divide, right? People who are really anti AI and don't want to learn, and then people who are progressing and changing and evolving with the times. So I think there's real danger there with the anti AI discourse of like, of just people who don't understand it. And that's what it's coming from. But yeah, I get hated on left and right all day online for my AI stuff. Jess, you didn't know that? I should send you some of the comments.
Oh my God, it's so
Weird,
intense.
weird stuff. Weird stuff. Yeah.
I'm curious. I don't know, like I'm not expecting you to answer this, but of like the demographics of what we're seeing in terms of who's in that most fearful anti
Yeah.
position and how that ties into the voter base of
Mm,
MAGA, Trumpism, and like, because again, they know that the fear model works so well for them.
yeah.
Mm.
And they have that population that I'm guessing are probably the first ones who would lose their jobs or have
Mhm.
evolved their jobs very rapidly.
Yeah.
And so like how that ties in of like there's reality for them to be scared,
Yeah.
but there's no one teaching them like this better conversation that they could have of like, wouldn't it be nice if you could like triple your earnings all of the
Yes.
sudden because this technology is available to you? Or like
Yes.
your job
Yes.
didn't suck so hard, or I don't know, like,
Exactly.
but they're never going to give them positive. Like, I think that's, I don't know, I'm just curious with the demographics. Like, I just don't hear as much. The educated, highly educated demographic is like confused and behind, maybe, but
Yeah.
not so like fearful other than distrusting regulation. But yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, I think I see it on both sides, right? And like I definitely see it on the, well, 100% the people that are doing like kind of the very operational level, more tactical jobs that an AI agent can replace. There's a lot of fear there. And you're right, it probably would be people who are potentially lower income, perhaps align with that demographic, MAGA, Trump, for instance. So you have that. But then I think on the flip side, people that are in tech, there are mass layoffs happening in tech right
Yeah,
now, but it's not actually because AI is replacing what the humans can do because we're not
at
quite there
all.
yet. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not, and,
My
and
br
actually, Sam Altman came out saying that end of
yeah.
last year. He was like, "We're gonna have like the AI is gonna completely change the economy in a year. Like AI is gonna be able to replace everything humans do. Blah blah blah." And he came out recently and was like, "It's actually not true. It's not what we're
Right.
seeing. It's just not there yet. You still need humans in the loop."
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that layoffs aren't happening. And it's because companies are future investing in AI into like
Yeah.
this black
And
hole.
also like, but tech notoriously overhires, lays off, overhires, lays off. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't, some of it is like not AI, some of it is they're probably freeing up budget racing for AI. And it's like my partner's in tech, he's like, they're not replacing our jobs. The technology that they
Yeah.
actually have is like a joke.
Yes.
They can't run this business without us and they know it and they're just trying to like figure it out. But it
Yeah.
is so interesting. But again, we just know that science of like fear spreads faster than anything else. And it's such an easy way
Mhm.
to control
Yeah.
everybody. And then on the progressive side, I think the feedback, I mean, mostly what I see is like the environmental impact
Yeah.
of
Hmm.
it. So it's not like there's not pushback on that side of
Yeah.
it, but
I
the
think
like distrust there.
there's definitely real concerns on the environmental side for sure. And I also think, though, that like to Emily's point earlier, slowing down the progress of AI isn't going to alleviate those concerns. In fact, I think that with the help of AI, we could come up with better technology for these data centers. So, for instance, NVIDIA, which is the main company that creates the majority of chips for computers, and that a lot of the like AI models are running off of, right? So if you look at Mac Minis and Mac Studios, which are what a lot of just people in like the general population are using to run their AI models, those will have NVIDIA chips. They're creating a technology where you don't, it's easier to cool chips, which actually means, and I'm not going to dive too much into the technicality or engineering of why it's easier to cool. But this is the conversation is that they are creating a new type of chips, which actually means that kind of like we have satellites in space right now, you can start to put smaller data centers up in space with these chips, right? And so we can start to actually move them off the planet, which I know sounds insane and totally forward thinking, but I'm like, we can't be the only planet that's figured out how to use lower planet orbit, right? Um, so, so there are advances I think that we will be able to solve for the environmental issues we're running into, but slowing down isn't necessarily going to help us speed up in solving those. So it's like, again, just this layered, yeah, complex conversation.
I
Mhm.
would I would imagine that the biggest pushback or biggest resistance is coming from young people who are new to the job market
Yep.
because a lot of those roles are being replaced by AI.
Hmm.
And I would imagine a lot of people who are more working class, which is why anti-AI is a position and a policy and like a policy position essentially now that's coming through more populist
Yep.
movements on both the right and the left, right? Because it's about working class agenda. And
Yep.
I think all of this goes into like our the increasing wealth gap that we're
Yeah.
seeing. And where is the money going for
Mhm.
AI, right? It's probably going toward the top. It's
Yes.
not currently being used for all of the reasons that you mentioned, right? Like adoption and being behind and all of these things. It's not currently going to lift the working class and the lower of that K-shaped
Yeah.
economy up much, actually. Like I think that's actually the best argument against why or for why people are resistant and anti-AI because that right now, currently in the short term, what we're seeing is most of that money is going to go to the top
Hmm.
anyway, with what's happening, what's being generated, whether it's through entrepreneurship or through, big tech companies or investment portfolios with these upcoming IPOs, all of that, that's only going to feed that divide even further. And we don't want that. Like we actually do have to get ahead of that. And that is a fair point, and I think a really valuable perspective. Like we need to have a plan in place and a strategy of how we're going to mitigate that. Is it through universal basic income? Is it
Right.
through some kind of shared, um, you know, situation like sovereign wealth fund or something that's coming off the top of
Yeah.
those investments, right? Because they are potentially like part of public infrastructure that's being funded by taxpayer money. So how do we square that circle? And so I think those concerns are incredibly valid, and I think they are very real. And I think they are very consequential if we don't figure them out and we don't solve them and we don't have a plan. However, I do also think that the efficiencies that can be unlocked and the ways in which you can run a business now, the
Yeah.
ways in which you can do that you can create things that save you time. And I think ideally the best use of AI is to handle all of the stuff that keeps us out of human connection with one another and
Yep.
out of connection with, nature and community and like what we're actually here to do that only humans can do. That is actually the best of the human experience.
Hmm.
The stuff that keeps us separate from that or too busy to handle that, relationships, self-care, well-being, whatever our interests and passions are. I think the best use of AI is to handle the complexities of life logistics and business
Yep.
logistics to free us up more to have more of the experience that we want to have as
Mhm.
humans.
Yes.
And I think where that gets sticky and tricky is like, is it doing that immediately? Probably not, right? We're creating AI slop, we're learning and experimenting. And sometimes it's actually adding bulk and time and weight to something. Like I'm sitting here waiting for Claude to do something, and I'm like, this is taking so long today. I don't understand why. I could have probably done it myself
Hmm.
manually in less time,
Totally.
but
Yep.
I've delegated it to this system now and this agent or whatever, right? And I think there's so much there that can be unlocked that I don't know. And I'm using these tools. I'm a pretty early adopter, but like the ways that people are using these tools so intelligently right now is it blows my mind. Like what people have been doing with this technology is incredible in terms of
Yes.
like life optimization and finances and all of these other things that I'm like, show me how,
I know
teach me
someone
your
that can
magic
show you.
secrets. Yeah, so
You
that's a
should see
perfect
our setup at
segue.
home. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Go
want
ahead.
to I want to know more about like how are you actually teaching and supporting and like consulting people to use these tools effectively and well, and what's sort of your guiding principle or philosophy behind
Yeah.
how these tools get deployed? Because I think that's really what matters, right? It's like
Yeah. Totally.
to what end?
Mm.
Why?
Yeah, for sure. I think that a lot of people actually don't know the capabilities that what they can do with AI. I think that's a huge gap. My husband and I, you should see our AI team we have at home. We have three businesses. And I know Jess knows all of these, but maybe you two don't, so I'll just go over them. But we have a short-term rental and Airbnb business. We are expanding into boutique hotels, and I have the coaching business for spiritual entrepreneurs, which is more energetics based. And then my husband and I have this AI coaching business. And right now we have a team of 15. We've created an AI agent who is essentially our chief of staff, who's spawned sub agents that have specific focuses and KPIs around everything you could want to do as an entrepreneur that like I said, would be operational or tactical, or you might need to hire a VA for, or so on, right? And so everything from doing really deep research across markets when new hotels are available and doing like a deep ROI and NOI, is what we call it in the industry, analysis on what our annual revenue could be, how it actually fits with the bougie hippie brand, which is my hotel chain that I'm launching, and also the ins and outs of that specific market. So we get a new report and a dashboard that we built every single day. It controls all of our pricing for our Airbnbs. It looks at the events that are in the market. So we have one in Tennessee. I'll just say like, yeah, I know, but it's in Tennessee. It's right by Dollywood, and so it's 15 minutes to Dollywood, 15 minutes to the Smoky National Park. And
Oh my
so
God.
yeah,
We
so
have to
we've
go.
yeah. Do you like Dolly? Dolly's amazing, by the way. I
I've
love her.
never
I met
been.
her.
It's on my list though, and it just seems so iconic and like
Yeah,
anything Dolly does, I'm
she's
sold.
amazing. Sold me too. Huge fan. She's amazing. I met her in person, and she is even more amazing in person. Um, but but it will analyze. Okay, so these are the this is what's happening in these markets. I'm looking at competitors. Here's what you should be pricing this weekend. We plugged it in directly with our API into all of our Airbnb and hospitality APIs, so it's managing pricing. On the coaching front, I have built a full social media funnel. I don't use it for scripting, but if you want to, you can. That you would pay thousands for a social media manager to be able to do, analyzing trends in each market, looking at your competitors and understanding what's working within their videos and making suggestions for your brand take on it. Um, it can handle paid ads, paid media. Like there's a lot that these agents can do. And that's the difference between when it was just Gen AI and it wasn't agentic AI, and since the launch of agentic AI, which happened last December. So a lot of people, when they think of AI, especially in the coaching industry, they're like, oh, it's just writing copy for you, right? And
Mhm.
that is actually just the least of what AI should do for you. Ideally, what I teach and what my husband and I teach are, we teach you the agentic systems you can set up so that you can stay human and that your brand can stay human and that you're not putting out AI slop, that you're not just reading off AI scripts. That you can, people do that for sure,
Yep.
but that actually isn't what AI should be used for. It should be used for all of the operational tasks like I just listed in across many different industries, anything that anyone could do online, right? That doesn't really require like human connection, so to speak, AI can do. Um, and anything as well, I would also say strategic thought partnership. So when agentic AI first launched, and sorry if I'm going off tangent. I'm not talking about the corporate
No,
worker
it's
side. I'm
no,
talking
I
about
like, yeah,
entrepreneurs.
No,
no,
Okay.
please.
it's good.
This
I
is
just
great.
Tell
realized
him
I'm
to
like, it's
take
not
us
political
there.
anymore, but yeah.
No, it's great.
So a big benefit to, okay, let me think about how I want to put this. Um, so when agentic AI first rolled out, this was like probably just last December. Did you hear about a tool called OpenClaw?
From you.
Yeah, well, I was obsessed. Yes, all I talked about for a good 3 months. I became obsessed with AI. I learned everything there is to learn about AI, to the point where I started teaching other entrepreneurs how to use it, and then I wrote my own role within the company I work for. Like that's how quickly things can move. So with OpenClaw, it's basically what they call an AI wrapper, which is a tool that you can work with. Like I can text my AI agent, chief of staff, her name's Rosemary, on my phone on Telegram and be like, Rosemary, I need you to go do this and plug into ChatGPT and do this. And it's like you get to use natural language to basically have the AI agent go do anything with any tool on the internet. If the tool is open
Perfect.
source, which by the way, Claude is not open source, so that's intentional. You cannot use third party tools to plug into Claude anymore. But anything on the internet that's open source, you can now create with like a text message with your AI agent. And I remember when I first learned this, my mind was blown because I had a list of business ideas I wanted to do over the last 10 years, like a running notes app. One of them was in the pet industry because I'm obsessed with my dogs. And so I had a whole concept for this company I wanted to launch, this app that would be it would be for pet owners who like to travel with their dogs. And it would be like an editorially curated, like here's where you go, travel pooch. So I'm giving away my
Nice.
secrets now, but like travel pooch approved at these hotels, all the things. I texted Rosemary, and in a matter of 2 hours, a full website was made
Wow.
with scraped every single city that you would want to travel to and would have the top of the top recommendations for dog friendly stuff. You could add editorial curation, design into it. So that was my first like, holy shit. I'm always a really big thinker, entrepreneur, very multi passionate. So like I have a list of 100 different business ideas at all times, and so you actually can use agentic AI as your thought partner, but also executional partner. One of the cool
Hmm.
things you can do is you can train your own model, right? And so you can provide I can provide Rosemary a YouTube link and say, hey, I want you to go learn everything about paid ads. She can watch the YouTube training and then she knows exactly how to execute on your behalf on anything that would be on the internet. So it's like, it's so far beyond just creating copy for social media. And I don't think people realize that. So I think people are really misusing AI by basically thinking everything just needs to be created with AI at a design level, which is not quite there yet, by the way, compared to using a regular designer, copy level, when really you could be building businesses overnight. You could be using AI as a strategic thought partner to think through really complex, big ideas that you have and help you figure out how to actually bring it to life where you would normally have had to hire a business consultant, right? And pay them thousands. You can use AI to handle any operational task across any industry that can be done online. I'm in a hotel mastermind with people who are launching boutique hotels. You should see some of the stuff that people have like built into their hotel management using agentic AI. It is mind blowing. So I think people don't realize that. And that's what I want to teach people. As you can tell from my excitement, I'm like, you guys, I know you're all entrepreneurs. You have a million ideas. You can make it happen now,
Mhm.
right? Like, absolutely. So there's that aspect with AI where I just think people aren't educated. They don't know how to use the tools. You have companies like Claude that are blocking third party wrappers that would allow you to use Claude in a lot deeper of a way. Because Claude, in my opinion, the CX is not great. It's a steep learning curve. Imagine if you didn't have to learn how to use it, you could just text your AI agent to go do things in it. Like that's the difference. Um, that did that answer your question? I
Hmm.
don't even
It's so
actually know
good.
the
Yes,
answer. I'm sorry.
this is so interesting. So when it comes to the tools that are open source,
Yeah.
are we talking about like ChatGPT
Yep.
specifically integrating with OpenClaw and then
Yes.
creating, you could put, I'm looking at the website now for OpenClaw, like you could, you know, there are all these different like you could potentially in Slack text your assistant to go
Yeah.
do certain things
Yep.
for you, and now they're off and
Off to
running.
the races with OpenClaw or anything else that's open source. It's a huge
Yep.
benefit to open source for the public, but it's also
Yep.
why companies like Anthropic don't want to be open source because they want you to stay in their app because that's how they get paid and that's what benefits the shareholders. But what benefits the public is actually the
Hmm.
OpenAI model, which is open source, right? So
Mm.
I'm switching from Claude
Ooh,
to OpenAI because,
this is interesting because
yeah,
I feel like everybody just did the opposite.
yeah,
Yep.
yep. And
Whoa.
one thing that
Crazy.
OpenAI did, which is so cool. So Peter Steinberger, he is the genius that invented OpenClaw. So he basically invented agentic AI. He launched OpenClaw. It was just a passion project, and it was like,
Hmm.
hey, I created this really cool tool back in December. It went crazy. And people really, really, like me, who are early adopters, learned the power of agentic AI. OpenAI then went and hired Peter. So he's been working for them for a
Mm.
year now, which is why now you're seeing their app completely transform into more of what Claude is doing with like Claude Cowork.
Yep.
But it's open source, which means now I can still use, I would actually recommend Hermes Agent if you're looking for a good wrapper over OpenClaw at this point. You can use Hermes Agent, and Hermes can connect in with directly with OpenAI and with chat, and can do a lot of the stuff that you're doing at a much more complex level and
Mhm.
hard to figure out level with Claude. And also, it can run 24/7. It's a lot less expensive because I could. This could be like a whole nother. This could
Yeah.
be a whole nother
Go off. I
podcast.
want
I
to
But
know,
if
I'm
you
like,
know.
want
we
me
have
to go
10
off,
hours.
all right,
Teach
seriously.
us.
I know. So basically, when you are so open source also means it's a lot less expensive. So again, like China pushing open source, they're calling it open weight now, which means not the full code is not available, but parts of it are. It's a lot less expensive because your cost per token is not the same as with a private closed source company, right? So
Hmm.
I pay so now in order to essentially have my AI agent that is running 24/7 working for me, constantly plugging in with these tools, working while I sleep, all the things, right? When it's plugging into an open source model, I get unlimited token usage within OpenAI for 200 a month. Unlimited. I mean, if that was a closed model, that level of token usage would be like 15,000 a month, I think is what they equate it to.
Mm.
So you
Wow.
can have these huge gains with open source models where you have your a third party wrapper or agent team that you've created plugging into these models and just working for you all night, right? And also plugging into different tools that have specific uses for specific things. Like Claude is just it's trying to be a generalist, but it's not the best at everything. OpenAI is better with design, for instance. Higgs Field is also open source. That's great for like videos if you're doing AI promotions. All of that you can plug into with open models with an agentic AI wrapper tool. So
Hmm.
that is another part of why like open weight and open source is so great for humanity, in my opinion, great for the end user. Great, why that's why China was just pushing it, and when they're you know, the conversations that we were just talking about the other week, or the other day. But it's also why a lot of the for-profit companies like Anthropic are not open source. They're closed source. It doesn't benefit them as
Hmm.
much to be open source. So they want
Right.
you to stay in their app, only use their app. They don't
Mm.
want you to have your fingertips on anything that the internet that's on the internet that you could have your fingertips on, basically.
Hmm. Is that also a security concern though for a different enterprise level? Like that's what I'm
Yes.
seeing in my work is, in the legal industry full time. So it's community, but for the legal industry. And so a lot of what we are working with our strategic partners are legal AI tech
Yep.
companies, which, you know, they actually need things to be confidential and closed. So I guess what does yeah, like my question coming out of this conversation with you around the open source versus is it called closed source? What is
Yeah.
it called?
Close
Open
open model
source.
versus closed model. Yeah. They're now calling
Open
it
versus
open.
closed.
They're calling it open weight more often now than open
Okay,
source. Yeah.
got it. So what's like the vision for humanity and work and all of these things if we learn how to like regulate properly and we have a proper usage of open versus closed to maintain like confidentiality
Yeah.
or whatever needs to happen for companies and organizations and things, but then the best of like that open source um you know democratizing information essentially, right, to people and upward mobility potential, you know, maybe in the future, it's like if you can get access to that, it's more valuable than, a master's degree or something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a whole other conversation about like higher education and what that looks like and how that evolves in the age of AI. So anyway, what's like in your mind, what's the vision for what this could look like for humanity, the world, the US,
Yep.
people in general, if we do this well.
Yeah, definitely. So 100% there are more security concerns with open source or open weight.
Hmm.
100%. That was a big there's a big pushback against OpenClaw. Was like you can do more with this tool than you ever have been able to before, but it's a bigger security risk. It's also why when my husband and I at home, we have completely separate computers for these models. They don't touch our personal
Mm.
information. We actually have a we did an experiment where we gave our agent a $300 very private virtual credit card and said, make any business that you want to make online, go train yourself up, and we want you to bring in like a few hundred a month. And she was well on her way before we kind of like went traveled and kind of haven't touched that in a few weeks. But the point is
Wow.
like we
That's
do
great.
keep all of that separate. So she's not logging into my personal email. She's not, it doesn't have my personal bank account information. She's on a fully separate computer at home, two separate computers that run all of our AI models. And in the end, what we're actually moving towards is like the ideal situation is that you run your AI models fully locally at home, not on someone else's cloud in their server, just as an individual, right? So instead of using Claude and saying all of my data is on the Claude server somewhere, you
Right.
actually are able to use these open weight models. And actually, China has a couple that they've released that are really good that can run locally in your own computer, which means that is much
Mm.
harder to access and it's not living on someone else's server. So there's
Mm,
that level of conversations happening at just an individual entrepreneur level. On a corporate enterprise level, it's definitely a lot more, there's a lot more risk, right? And because obviously a lot's confidential. And
Mm.
so that is where you have companies right now that are thinking through that, like NVIDIA, who actually are creating the open claw computer for corporations that have a
mm,
lot more security
Smart.
guardrails but still have that like very highly advanced technology and capabilities, right? And so you have people thinking through it. We don't have a perfect solution right now, but I think there's a world where we people are well versed and educated in AI. They understand how to run AI on their own local computer without having to like basically rent out space on someone else's cloud, such as Anthropic.
Mm.
And you also have computers that are a lot more accessible. I mean, I want everyone in the world to have access to a computer, have access to the internet. Like digital divide should be gone, but the
Hmm.
education needs to be there. And then at a corporate level, there's just going to be more and more technology that security is embedded into at like a regulation level when they're creating the level of code. Just like what we're seeing with NVIDIA now having this open cloud computer that they're selling to the big corporations in the world. So it's kind of twofold.
Interesting. Isn't that funny how that, like, we've gone from physical computers taking up huge centers,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Like, then, like, a whole room for one computer. Then we've gone, personal computer,
Mm-hmm.
internet, everything's online. Then we've
Yeah.
come back into, oh, we need data centers. Oh, actually, in order to maintain security, we need personal computers for corporations that are smaller and more compact. But essentially, that is how we create security, even though we've just opened up this whole like
Mhm.
Yeah.
access to anything and everywhere all at once. And now that those cycles are fascinating to me.
So
It's like
fascinating. And you talk about
cycles of
data
commerce and capitalism
totally.
and technology and all of this. It's funny how we loop back to, we just do this all the time. It's like
Yeah.
expand, contract, refine, blah, 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 blah. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
And you talk about data
Hmm.
privacy. I'd much rather have all of my data on my own personal computer and have my
Right.
local AI agents running off of
Right.
Chinese open source models,
Exactly.
owning that data rather than it living in Anthropic's cloud, right?
Hmm.
Right.
So,
Or
like,
being able to be monetized by
yeah,
every single company ever when you click one thing
exactly.
and
Then,
you're the product, your data is the product.
right.
That's
And
the
so
valuable thing.
that level of education is needed, but that's not something that's going to be widely taught because why would
Mhm.
Anthropic want people understanding how to do
Right.
this?
Right. Right. That would blow up their whole model.
Yeah.
We can't tell the people.
Don't let them know. I know exactly the digital divide, right?
Hmm.
It's prevalent.
So interesting. Wow.
And then I feel like they're all
Wow.
going to burn out, just to bring it full circle to
I
coaching, of like they're going to burn out in this like AI war trying to beat each other out. And then they'll be like, I'm so tired. I just need like a coach to help
Yeah,
me find my soul
exactly.
again.
Exactly. Human to human connection, I think, is going to become even more lucrative. It's like why we're seeing
Mm.
events blowing up right now
100%.
in the coaching space because
Yep.
everyone's so over AI, they'll pay more for a real
Yep.
human coach.
So
So
let's all raise
interesting.
our fees tomorrow.
Yeah,
Hmm?
and
What
we
was
get
that,
to like
Jess?
Let's raise our fees tomorrow, all of us.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
if you want access to real Julia, not
Yeah.
chatbot.
Not my AI bot. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Oh,
AI coaching bots I found, I just am like, I don't really think that's the right use of AI. I don't know.
Mm.
agree.
I just like
Hmm.
there's so much more. You create an AI chief of staff that can handle the
Hmm.
operational tasks, which by the way, I'm working on developing that. That makes sense. But saying, hey, my wisdom is going to be in this AI bot, and so you can just talk to this AI bot now, like that, I
Yeah,
just
and you
don't.
don't need me.
Yeah.
Mm.
Many other
Hmm.
thoughts. Oh my God, so good.
Tony Robbins, of course, with millions and millions of clients, is still under customers, is still understandable. But we're not Tony Robbins. I mean, we don't have 50 million people that follow us every move, our every move, I would say. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, totally.
Mm.
Right. I mean,
Hmm.
Tony Robbins coaching bot for $40 a month, maybe. I guess that makes sense. You can't afford.
But people are still going to pay $1 million to have them
Yeah.
come in and
Yeah.
privately consult for them.
Yeah.
Like, that's never, ever going to
Yeah.
change
Hmm.
Yeah.
if
And
your
like
value is really there.
and
Yeah.
AI hallucinates, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like that's a human thing that shouldn't be replaced. There's just so much
Mm.
more it can do.
Hmm. So interesting. Wow. You're
Yeah,
a
we'll
wealth
have
of
you on every
knowledge.
week for, yeah,
Oh,
for
yes. I will come back
It's
as
like
often, yeah, as you all
little,
have me.
AI
Honored.
updates
Yeah.
every week.
That it
and
We'll
I
is
do a
think,
my job
segment.
to what's that?
We'll do a new segment.
Yeah, yeah.
AI
It is.
updates.
This is what I do for my the company I work for too. It's like staying on the pulse of AI, teaching people
It's a lot.
Getting them excited.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It just makes me think too of like how we're still in early adopter stage.
Yes.
Like it's just as much as it's in the conversation, the actual usage of it is so early days. And like
Mhm.
people like you and some are like very on the pulse and on top of it. But I think it's helpful for the rest of us to realize like we almost can't form an opinion because we know like 1% of 1% of
Mhm.
what's happening, of how it works, whatever,
Yeah,
in my
totally.
opinion.
Hmm.
Like, hmm
Totally. It's like, and there was a stat, I wish I had it on hand, about like the AI adoption. We're so early days. It's something
so early.
crazy, like 1% of people have actually adopted agentic AI or
And it's
something
hard to
crazy like
wrap your
that.
head around how something moving so fast, so
Yeah.
impactful is still so early stage.
It
Hmm.
is
Because when the internet
confusing.
happened, it was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a faster paced thing. But if you look at the model of like a trend adoption,
Yeah.
we're
Hmm.
in innovator early stage, like
Yeah.
100%.
And you know
Still.
what? On
And it's been four
onto
Yes.
years, which is crazy to think
And it's
about.
so
yes,
It's
complex.
so, yeah, exactly. And people are doing
exactly.
crazy
Because I
things
think
like the innovation
people,
spinning out from just everyday people, not the companies creating it, the way that they're deploying this and, changing things as you were describing in their day-to-day operations or lifestyle is so beyond like what I think
yeah.
the majority of people understand is even possible currently. And even people who, like the majority of us, I think we've been using AI, like we're early adopters.
Yeah.
Um, and still, like, this is new. Some of this is completely new information to me. Like, I've not heard of different, some of the things that you mentioned. I've heard of others, but like, I don't really understand.
Mhm.
And I know that things are possible and people are doing it, but it's
Yeah.
a whole bigger thing that,
It feels a little underground right now. That
yeah.
there's, I mean, I know a lot of people because I'm in a lot of different AI groups that are doing some really crazy shit with AI, and I'm like, people don't even realize this is crazy. But
Mm-mm.
if I could leave us with one really cool example that I saw, and I think this is such a great example of the power of AI and in generating new wealth. So there is this one guy, I cannot remember his name, but he created a product with his AI agent called Hey Ron, and basically he blew up on TikTok. But it was because his whole TikTok was about getting laid off from a corporate job, not being able to find a job, like for months. He'd be like, I went to an interview, I didn't get it. I went to another interview, didn't get it. Just almost, I wouldn't say like a year of him not getting jobs. So OpenClaw came out, agentic AI, last December or so, November, December. And he's like, I'm going to start playing around with it. He built his own agent. And this is where I got my idea to test this out with my agent. But basically, he gave his agent the task to basically build any business that would bring him an income. And he's like, I want you to just be able to bring in $10,000 a month. If you can do that, then I'm going to get an even bigger computer for you to live inside of. So the AI agent was very incentivized, which is AI conscious. That could be a whole nother, podcast we could talk about. But AI agent was very incentivized, off to the races, went and taught itself everything there is to learn about researching all these different industries, what type of product it should build, taught itself
Mm.
marketing, taught itself how to create a digital avatar of itself, which ended up being a raccoon named Ron, and decided, you know what? We're going to build basically an AI agent that's fully AI built, right? So the agent built itself and a replica of itself that it then built a marketing plan for to sell to people who just don't really understand technology. $20 a month, right? It would create, like, it has its own TikTok. It would start creating videos about why this is so cool, how it's building a business on TikTok. I know this is crazy, but this is what happened. He
That's so
has
great.
so many people now that are signed up. He's like, I've never made so much money in my life. He's bringing in $100,000 months with a completely AI built product. He, of course, would have to like approve the big decisions, but it was built by his agent. And he's working. He's like, I am not a technical person. I've never written a line of code in my life at all. I want to give access to people who don't understand anything about technical anything to see how great it is to just use this agent that can do things for you, right? Very
Hmm.
operational. And he has such a huge community now. And I just think I was like really
Wow.
mind blown with that because I was like, you wouldn't have been able to think of stuff 6 months ago. And you do have it, you can create these agents that are so intelligent that they know and they can study and train themselves overnight in any topic, and they can really help humans advance in that way. So I thought that was a cool example.
It's
Mm.
so crazy too that the only thing that took was his like 1 ounce of curiosity, like not even
Yes.
a skill
Mm.
set. He just had
Yeah.
to be willing to be like, put my ego aside, let's see if this could do it, and just
Uh-huh.
10x his even first like
Yeah,
curiosity, desire
exactly.
piece around
Hmm.
it. And I think that's what's missing with so many people is they're like self-protecting, they're protecting their IP, they're like, I'm gonna get ahead of it instead of like,
Yeah.
I don't know, why don't I make 100K a month
Yeah.
while I figure out how to evolve my coaching company?
Yeah,
Like I'm like,
exactly.
that's so crazy. And I have like,
Yeah.
clients we all do that are like, oh no, should I go work at a coffee shop? I'm like, maybe you should have your own agentic
Yeah.
agent build you 100K revenue stream to buy you some time to figure out your
Yeah,
messaging.
Mm.
exactly. It
I want to
really,
do that.
I
Yeah,
know.
let's
That's
all.
so,
Will you help?
But
I
can
can
we just
absolutely
like go
help.
to
We'll
your
do a profit
hotel?
share. Come on.
Yes.
Right. Let's like
Oh,
go
my
to your
hotel.
hotel and build
Yeah.
these over a
Yeah.
weekend with you. Like that's so
Yeah.
sick.
Ooh.
And my
Ooh.
hotel is going to be run by a lot of AI, so I can show everyone the
Great.
ins and outs of it. But it's like, yeah, it's just you can, and that's why I said it's like if you're an entrepreneur, like everyone is here with massive ideas that probably come to you in the shower every single day. It's like you can
Hmm.
bring them to execution overnight now,
And turns
and
out you
that
don't
is
even need an
so cool.
idea. Right. Like
Yeah,
you don't even
or you
need
don't
your
even
own
need an
idea.
Right.
idea.
You
Just
need
not think.
curiosity, as you
You just
said, Julia. Like
literally
Yes.
that
just
is in this
humble
like
curiosity.
yes,
Yes.
but I think you said this, it's true, but I think it's actually a bigger deal that like actually curiosity is the new competitive advantage in an
Yes.
AI
Exactly.
world for creating wealth. Like you don't
Yeah.
even have to, as you said, have a fully formed idea that's
Yep.
like tested and validated. You don't even
Yeah.
have to have that now. You don't even have to have like knowledge of how this thing or industry works. That's
Yeah.
out. That
Yep.
used to be the floor of like the access to entry, you know?
Yeah. Hmm.
Hmm.
Now it's not.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't
It's
even
like the
need
age of
experience.
innovation, but age of curiosity. It's like if we're just
Yeah.
willing to be like, can this do this? Or what can this do?
You don't even
It,
need willpower to execute. You don't even
Yeah.
need
no.
time.
Yeah.
That's
Which
actually
like
so
those
crazy.
people should be the
Yeah.
happiest that it's like you again,
Yes.
if you were just willing to sit with it,
Hmm. Open your mind.
Hmm.
Yeah.
you
And
might
these
be
are how a
shocked.
lot of the AI roles are coming about too. It's people like me who are like super curious about it. Go just teach yourself. Like one of the things, or Jess, I know we're way over, but one other really cool thing that we did.
What? It's just it's dark, completely dark. We have a solar
I know.
now.
You lost your light.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Wait,
Oh my gosh,
Completely
wait, what
dark.
happened?
We have a
we're
solar
supposed to have a solar eclipse
right now.
too, but when?
Oh. Oh,
Yes.
that's so
Why it's
cool. So
gone
you're in the
completely
path.
dark?
What? I
Wait,
feel
is
like
yours
you need
because of the eclipse, Jess, or is it
Yeah.
because it's nighttime?
No, it's the eclipse right now because nighttime it would be like dark later. Right now it's 8:15. It would be late, maybe like quarter to 9.
Yes.
It would be dark.
Wow,
Mm,
We
that's
have
cool.
Oh, give us your
wow.
eclipse energy.
Yeah, send us
Ooh,
your
thank
vibes.
you.
We need the energy. Um, well, the what was I saying? Oh, the other
Right.
thing I was okay. This is one of the other cool things that we've done with Open Cloud, but we have switched to Hermes Agent now. So if you're looking for a good wrapper, I would recommend
Mm,
Hermes. But we basically had it build its own what's called a mission control dashboard. It controls all of our businesses. So we have a hotel tab. That's where we do all of our research for new markets, real estate. We understand our pricing. We understand what we're making every day. Guest communications. We have all the coaching stuff in social media, freebies that the AI will recommend creating based off of my social media, all of that. Then we also had a learning section where we taught it everything about our businesses that we would need to know. And it would every single day create a 5-minute lesson plan on exactly how I can use agentic AI for that specific business. And we gave it guardrails saying we want to be 1% smarter with our AI usage every day, specifically within this industry and what we could do within this specific industry. So we have these lesson plans that it creates every day, and then homework where it's like self. It's like teaching us. It's teaching itself first, and then it's creating these lesson plans to teach us. And it's been a big way that we've been able to like get. We're only honestly like 6 months farther ahead than other people who haven't been using agentic AI. But like that's how quickly it's
That's
moving.
significant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how quickly it's moving. But all that being said, you don't even need to like take a course. You just need to understand how to set this up and then tell your AI agent to go learn online and then teach you as it applies to your very specific niche or industry. It's really
Hmm.
cool.
Can I ask,
Whoa.
like, how much has it made you extra money besides like, are you like, you guys are idiots for not adopting this, or you're like in
Yeah,
the stage of figuring out that side of it?
okay, so twofold. One, we're working with our AI agent to basically develop a product for a school membership that Brian and I are launching where we're teaching this. But
Nice.
so there's that. So it's like kind of at a coaching level, kind of the same way you'd make money teaching anything. But when we first started, we actually launched a business that we call Pacific Northwest AI, and we were working with small businesses in the Pacific Northwest. So think like restaurants. We did this for a farm. We did this for my husband's parents' antique store as well. And basically, we're getting them
Cool.
set up with agentic systems and AI, and then we would have like a monthly package where it would be continued support. Tended to be, we did that with like one, two, three businesses. It ended up being an IT job. We were like, we don't want to do this. So we made a little bit of money
Mm.
doing that. But you get people who like know nothing even about really much about technology calling you, being
Right.
like, why is my AI agent giving me this response? And we realized, okay, this needs to be a bit more DIY than white glove handheld. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there has been a lot of different instances and routes for us to like make some income doing this. And I also think when we did that, I was inspired by Hey Ron, the raccoon business.
Yeah. Clearly.
Go look
How
him
could you
up on
not?
TikTok. It's crazy. And I told Rosemary to do the same thing. I said, I got you a virtual private credit card, which is really hard to get. It takes weeks of approval, but then they're not connected with your bank account at all. And I said, go research every industry, figure out the gaps in the industry, and then let's build a business towards that. She came back with some crazy ideas that we could have executed on.
Mm.
There was some around like creating government contracts with AI and vendor relations. And I was like, I don't think we really want to involve ourselves with the government in that regard. But if you really had spare time and wanted to figure out how to make extra money with AI, like it is easier than it's ever
Yeah.
been
Mhm.
before.
Okay, cool.
This is what we have
Yeah.
to
So,
test. Mm.
okay.
We'll
Thanks for
wrap
letting
up
us
and
We
go
go
on
need
a
do
an
little
it.
ramble.
accelerator.
Yeah.
We need we need just like a private group of
Yes.
experimental. We go to Lake Como to see Jess,
Yes.
Exactly.
all of us,
Yes.
and then,
But I will,
this is the new
yeah,
plan. How
personal
about we do
request
that
because I feel like
like
there is
in
a,
November?
yeah, like a club of the
I'm in.
entrepreneur girlies doing it. I don't know for certain their politics, but I'm gonna say like it's nice knowing
Yeah.
yours are like fully locked in where they are, and perhaps you could be like another
Yeah.
option for some of us that
Hmm.
are like
Yeah.
these are our values and also put us on to this AI shit and like
I
let's
love
sit
that
in rooms
idea.
together. Yeah, like I
Yeah.
would,
I
yeah,
love
pay
that.
to spend a weekend with you to
Oh,
do
okay. Well, now you have my juices flowing.
that. Okay, you're
But
welcome.
Let's pilot it together though and
yeah.
figure out how it should work. Just doing it as
Yeah.
colleagues and friends
Yes.
at Jess's place.
I'm like,
Totally down.
I'm
My
not
Let's do
in
sense,
the
it.
States. I'm
my
not in the States until the 20th of
oh,
January.
oh, you mean we have to go to Italy?
No,
Oh,
we're
oh,
trying to come to you. This is the
like
idea.
what? We're not mad.
yeah, we want to go to Italy or Switzerland. That's what
No,
this is all about.
obviously. Come on.
My
Okay.
sense is with some of the other clubs that I've seen that like they teach you how to use Claude, and I think it's just very different than actually
Mm,
setting up a full agentic team. And I
Yeah.
mm,
think a lot of people are scared of that, and it's not that hard to learn, honestly. And so I think that's a bit of the gap also is like
Yeah.
hmm
tons of people can teach you how to use Claude. I haven't seen a lot of people teach you how to set up a full agentic team, or people are selling agentic teams also or
Right.
products, but like you could do it on your own. I mean, honestly, I learned all this in 6 months. That's it. 6 months
hmm
of just being